Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your Sandhya Gopalakrishnan. I'm very happy to come back to post this series on our childhood, our reflections, as I had mentioned to you in my previous video. First of all, I'd like to thank all of my subscribers and viewers for having supported my prelude to this series of our childhood, our reflections. Yes, I did mention to you in my previous video that I would like to rename my channel as Come Let Us Rebuild India. But unfortunately, due to YouTube's restrictions, I could not go forward with that. So I'm today renaming my channel as Psychology for Change. And I hope and I believe that all of my viewers and subscribers are going to be the change makers in this revolution. Yeah, so coming to the topic of the day, our children, our perceptions, and our reflections of the same. So, while talking about childhood, many memories drop down our lane. There are many good memories, there are many nostalgic, happy go lucky memories that we have, and we do may also have certain disturbing memories. So, but none of us can deny that our childhood memories and experiences have, in some way or the other, influenced our personalities and the behavior patterns that we adapt today in our day to day routine. Similarly, this fact had been reinstated and proved by many psychologists, and one such psychologist was Dr. Sigmund Freud, who had always stressed and emphasized the importance of childhood experiences as the bedrock or the foundation for any personality disturbances or adulthood behavioral deviant patterns. Thus, I would like to start today's topic by quoting our retired American general Colin Powell, which says, "If you want to save the world, first start by saving a kid." And in my perspective, why to go for any other kid when we have our own kids to save? And how could we save our kids? By just being of help to them in all the spheres of their requirements, whether it is emotional, cognitive, social, or mental development. Yeah. So, as you all know, we are born into this world as developing individuals or developing infants who are in need of our environmental, social, mental, biological stimulants for our nourishment and fullest development. In the process, we know there are many factors which play a role, like our parental care, the environment of our family, the environment of our culture, our neighbors, our siblings, our relationship with our siblings and uh, family members, and so on. Besides that, there are also other factors like natural disasters, like tsunami playing a role, or even man-made disasters like a world war or any emergency that's being levied playing a role, and of course disasters, unexpected scientific outbreaks like pandemic, the recent COVID-19 also do have a pivotal role in molding the developmental years of a child. And the recent research also proves that there are certain neurodeficits that are being identified, and the kids who were born in the uh, peak era of the pandemic, that is in March 2020, were found to score low on their developmental milestone checklist when compared to the kids who were born earlier to the pandemic. So these are quite a few evidences wherein those developmental years, or the first 1,000 days, or and first 2 years of a child from the time of birth, are very crucial for his or her cognitive, physical, mental, social, and neurological development. Now, there was this famous um, British psychologist, psychiatrist, Bowlby, who had so much of interest in investigating what would become of a child when he or she is being provided with all physical um, requirements but denied of any emotional attachment. And thus he ended up in a research on all the orphans who were left destitute by the World War II. In his research, he found that those infants who were denied of any emotional attachment were found to have adjustment problems and socializing problems and personality problems in their later adulthood years. So this is again an evidence to prove how important it is to take care of the developmental years. Now, as we all know, the caregiver's role is a very important one in the development of a child. So the first caregiver or the primary caregiver for a child, of course, is the mother, universally. But at times, unfortunately, the mother is not available, and hence the other significant others, whether it's the father or any other significant member of the family, would be the first primary caregiver. Yeah. So this relationship that the child builds with the caregiver is the term attachment, coined by Bowlby, which plays a real uh, pivotal role in molding the adaptive capabilities of the child in the adulthood years or in the future years. So when we investigate the attachment patterns, we are able to find that the universal, natural, protective and secure way of attachment is the one in which the mother is all available to the child, listens to the physical cues and to the verbal cues, the babbling, the non-verbal cues, all the cues of the child, and is emotionally, socially, physically reciprocating her child with the warmth and affection that she can give, the nurturance that she can give. But in that case, the attachment is quite a healthy one, a very positive one, and that is a secure one, which leads to completely developed, highly functioning, achieving individuals in the future years. But many a times, such attachment patterns are being disturbed due to various other factors for the caregivers or in the environment of the infant. Those few patterns are: there is an avoidant attachment pattern, which is there. There is a disorganized attachment pattern or controlling attachment pattern, which is there. And there is also one ambivalent or anxiety prone attachment pattern that is there. Now, in this ambivalent attachment pattern, the mother is available, she is reciprocating, giving all the warmth and care for the child, but in an inconsistent way. More a time she is over caring and overprotective, over giving in to the needs of the child, but at times there are occasions where she just neglects the child or ignores the child because of her own obligations, physically, mentally, socially, etc. So this is a state of ambivalence where the child picks up ambivalent cues, and the relationship is also one of an ambivalent nature. In the avoidant style, the mother or the caregiver is trying to avoid any reciprocation to the child due to her own constraints or due to her displeasure with the child's birth, due to different reasons, her own economical condition it could be, or this was not the time she was expecting a child, or could be her physical ailments, it could be her career obligations, whatever, or her postpartum stress. In any of these factors also, there is a possibility the primary caregiver or the mother actually avoids any proper nurturance of the child, and henceforth the child attachment pattern is also going to be based on that. Yeah. So, and there is this disoriented or controlling attachment pattern, where in this disoriented or controlling attachment pattern, the primary caregiver or the father or mother as such are suffering from certain psychosocial obligations and implications, where they are not in a position to healthily treat the child, which leads to the controlling of the child or abusive relationship with the child. Okay, due to their own substance abuse, victimization, or it could be due to their own other biological ailments, or it could be due to their predispositions, whatever, but they are in a way having a abusive relationship or a controlling or disoriented relationship or nurturance to the child, and henceforth the attachment pattern is also disoriented. Yeah. So now in all of these cases, there is an instance where the secure attachment pattern, the child is quite happy in the presence of the mother. When the mother leaves, the child feels upset, and when the mother comes back, the child goes to her with a positive expression. But in the ambivalent pattern of attachment, the child is not sad, is not happy in the presence of the mother, does not get sad when she leaves, and when the mother comes back, shows a lot of anger and resentment and ambivalence because of the inconsistency in her cues. In the avoidant attachment pattern, again, the child seems to not feel happy in the presence of the mother, does not feel upset at her absence. When she comes back, does not reciprocate her presence with any positive expression. So there is in all these three unhealthy attachment patterns, we did find how in secure attachment patterns the child will look forward for the mother and will go with a positive expression, but in avoidant or ambivalent or in the controlling or disorganized attachment pattern, the child would not feel any emotion in the presence. In the absence also there is no upset, and when the mother comes back there is no positive expression of any emotion. So this is one very peculiar finding that has created so much of emphasis on how nurturance plays a role in the development of the social development of the child or the emotional development of the child. So as primary caregivers, many of times parents think that they are very much available for the children. Most mothers, we all universally would love to be those secure, those mothers who are giving a protective and secure attachment pattern to our children. But unknowingly or unintentionally, many a times we do substitute our presence with so many other alternatives. Like we can see in today's frenzied world, there is the common practice of mothers very prematurely leaving their kids to the care of some caretaker. It's not wrong, though there is an importance for a career and of course them getting back to work and all that, but of course he or she should compensate for the quality time that they would be highly missing upon in the hands of the caregiver to the very small infant who's being endowed with. So that is one. And there are also many parents who are at least the caretaker, the secondary caretaker who comes is better option when compared to the technological explosion that they are being bombarded with, or the gadgets that they are being gifted with. Because many a times in today's scenario, it is such a common thing for a very small infant or a toddler to be gifted with an iPhone or an iPad or any advanced technological gadget for that matter, to keep them occupied and engaged, and in such a way that the parents or the primary caretakers are not being interrupted. So that again is going to create unhealthy attachment pattern for the child, even amongst the significant others in the family. And that of course is paving the way for the child getting a lot emotionally detached and developing later life adjustment issues in the social circle. So these are things to be pondered upon. And finally, we have identified that these attachment patterns, if they are healthy, there is no issues. The child develops into a very positive, the one who's the most ambitious, the positive, the more caring, holistic individual one could be. But in the other cases, when the child is not going to be taken care of or paid attention to in the early years, and there is no healthy attachment pattern that's been established, it paves the way for a couple of disorders which are broadly called as the attachment disorders. There are many other disorders also propping out of these problematic attachment patterns or deficits in attachment patterns, but we will primarily look at the attachment based attachment disorders today. In that, there are two major attachment disorders that have been identified. One is the excuse me one is the reactive attachment disorder, and the next is the disinhibited social engagement disorder. In the reactive attachment disorder, this is one which is observed highly amongst the kids who have been institutionalized. At least for 2 years of age from the time of birth, there has been totally no care being provided to them, and they have always been left without any emotional attachment or social engagement. So they tend to be individuals who are completely withdrawn. They do not initiate any social interaction even when they are exposed to a great social gathering. The second type is that is called the disinhibited social engagement disorder, wherein the child interacts but not with the acquaintances or with the caregivers, but with strangers. The child has a lot of predisposition to interact more gregariously with strangers than with the acquaintances or significant others or the primary caregivers. So in both of these, reactive attachment disorder and the disinhibited social engagement disorder, in both of these, the mental health professionals' major support would be to work with the patient or the child or the kid to develop a positive, secure attachment pattern with the primary caregiver or the parent or the significant person in the family. This development of a positive, secure attachment pattern will indeed help them develop more secure attachment patterns and healthy social interactions with the other significant areas of their life, with the people in the other significant areas of their life, like their school peers, or if it's going to be their club members or their office colleagues or anything like that. So in all these areas, the primary concern will be to first establish a secure attachment pattern, a positive attachment pattern with the primary caregiver. Yeah. So my dear friends, this video does not intend to throw light upon just talking about what are the attachment patterns, what are the different attachment patterns, or like what are the disorders related to attachment patterns or anything like that. The main focus is that my dear mothers there, the mothers of especially the young ones, the tiny tots and the toddlers, the ones in the infancy stage, all of them would have to please keep in mind that although today there are various other engagements available to make the child involved in, and of course parents are thinking way ahead of giving the best and environmental stimulation for their children to bring about the best cognitive, improve the children in all the facets in the most tremendous way. Still, the first possible best way a primary caregiver can help a child is by giving their own attention and time, and being an active listener to the child's verbal and non-verbal cues, body language, social cues, and emotional cues. There are many a times when we tend to be stereotyped in our caring of our children by following the ways that our parents would have handled us with, which could have been ignored, which could have been ways that came out of their own ignorance, our own parents' ignorance, or the inadequacies of certain facilities, or the inadequacy on certain information or something like that. Of course, today we have progressed a lot from the years back when we were kids. So that being the scenario, we could be and we could do much more than what our parental generation did to keep our child more healthily engaged, more sensibly engaged, and more safely engaged. So that is the prime intention of this video. So please spend more time with your kids. First, observe them, understand them, listen to them, and be of help to them in their expected manner. That is the point of this video. So you could always, instead of asking them to watch a movie or a cartoon character or a cartoon tale on a TV show, you could always try portraying stories to them, doing some puppeting with them of the different interesting stories of their school kindergarten books. You could always go for a recreational activity with them, like playing a shuttle with them, playing chess with them, or you could take them for a walk. You could be their own play partner. And you could discuss with them what colors they like, what do they observe in everyday activities that happen around them. And these are all the simple ways, and not trying to at least exhibit any negative verbal or physical or any social gestures in front of them, in the presence of the kids, even if those are the accepted social ones that happen. So these are a few ways, rather than putting them in the best coaching centers, or rather than putting them into different classes and different hobbies and all that. The first thing is that you could be their best friend by giving your own time, your own understanding, your own care and warmth, and your own shedding your own experiential light onto their development. So this is my humble request, and that is the please take care that your attachment patterns are quite secure, and they are quite independent, and they are healthy, so that they nourish the child in such a way that they will be rising up to be good, uh, good-willed, healthy, sound-minded people out there. Yeah. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this video would be of use to you. Please continue your support for all my videos in future relating to this childhood, our perceptions and our reflections. Thank you.